Hello, hello. Grown black folks talk. Chaos, entropy, death, and the black community. And you. I've been observing, but not so much involved in a lot of the stuff that's going on and kind of watching what's going on in the internet space around black people in the past week. And I was reflecting, it is 3 months and 1 day since the passing away of Mr. Kevin Samuels. Now, as y'all know, and if you don't know it now, you will during the summer Bible study. I have no patience for that man's philosophy or having been idolized. But I observed something going on with him and also many of his ideological components that remind me of something that I learned in college. Now, actually, high school, but then it kind of became more clear to me how this is going to work in terms of the universe in college. One of the great mistakes that has been foisted on us as Black people, and we now are doing it to allowing our children to go through the same mistake, is that all that stuff doesn't have anything to do with me because that doesn't help me live my life today. Well, when we are immature, we think that whatever we cannot see that makes us feel better, look better, and get what we want, we feel like that has nothing to do with us. But as time passes and you pay attention to what's going on with you, it does. A lot of people seem to thrive on chaos. Let me explain to you why that is so dangerous and why you need to exit those systems immediately. In physics, there are two major laws. These are not opinions, these are observable laws. The first law of thermodynamics says matter can neither be created nor destroyed, it can just change form. The second law says usable energy, well, matter and energy, same thing, two different forms. Energy can be neither created nor destroyed, it just changes forms. And the second law says, although energy cannot be created or destroyed, usable energy is turning into entropy always. And entropy is energy that still exists, but it can't be used to build anything. It can't be used for anything productive. It's there, but it's not helping anything. To give you a sense of how much entropy there is in the universe, everything you can see in the universe that has light either coming out of it or shining off of it is only about 5% of the universe. 95% of the universe we can't see. Now we know that there is something called dark energy, which means that the you can't see it because it's not on the visible spectrum, but there's still infrared and ultraviolet. So it's not visible to the human eye, but it's still there. But that just tells you if you boiled some water, the energy that it took to boil that water will never be capturable to be used again. When that thing cools down, that energy is still in the universe, but it's entropy. It can't be used in anything. And if you consider these pools of unusable energy, they're also not well ordered anymore. And this gives you entropy. When you look at systems, you see that entropy and chaos run together because a chaotic system no longer allows for the regularity and the order for things to be grown reliably or built. If your weather patterns become chaotic, some years you will have tremendous growth. Hunters and gatherers could kind of deal with this better. If for whatever reason your political system becomes chaotic, there will be good years for certain people and bad years for others, but there's no regularity. And so society begins to break down. Some people in the Black community thrive on chaos. But once chaos is in place, entropy has taken over, meaning that there can be ever so much energy. In the terms of astronomy, a supernova and the leftover nebula or black hole that results, they can be beautiful and fascinating to study. But that takes you one step closer to the heat death of the universe. And what is that exactly? When there's no longer anything producing enough heat and light, when the stars have all died and there's nothing left producing heat, the universe dies in a cold waste, all dark. Now, as a Christian, I know that never actually will happen. The Lord Jesus Christ has promised that he will create a new heavens and a new earth. It's in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. For those of you that may be Jews, Yahweh, same promise. There'll be a new heavens and a new earth. So I know that's not going to be allowed to happen. But if the universe was allowed to just keep going, eventually all the energy in the universe will not be ordered in such a fashion that anything can grow and anything can live. Well, if you look at what has happened to large tracts of things that Black people thought were their own, and you look at large tracts, there's still a lot of energy, but is it building anything or is it becoming chaotic? If it is becoming chaotic, it is dying. Imagine having a chaotic heartbeat or a chaotic breathing rate. Imagine the flow of blood in your body becoming chaotic instead of ordered, instead of that energy being channeled in a productive direction. Imagine the Earth's rotation around the sun becoming chaotic. Still exists, it's chaotic. Well, if you've studied physics long enough and they've done simulations of this, if a orbiting body is perturbed sufficiently, it may complete a few more orbits, but what's going to happen is either that orbit is going to decay, meaning said item is eventually going to plunge into what it's orbiting because of gravity, or centripetal force, which pushes things out, will cause it instead to be exited from what it's orbiting. For a planet that has to be in exactly perfect alignment with its sun to maintain life, either one of those is a disaster. So yeah, it may make a few chaotic orbits that'll be different than anybody's ever seen before. You know what happened on Earth if that happened though? When systems become chaotic, they're breaking down. There may be a lot of light, there may be a lot of heat, there may be a lot of energy clearly, and people are attracted to this. But to be attracted to chaos is to be attracted to imminent death. I was talking to some sisters today, and I made the comment that if you're a Black woman, the real divestment is to listen to Stephanie Perry and Alicia Renese, the artist. Now, they're not the only content creators, they just happen to be the ones on the table. Because Stephanie Perry is saying, if you are really tired of playing the same games and having the same conversations and having the same arguments with the same people, I will help you learn as a Black woman how to leave you want to leave the culture? Leave the country. I will show you how Black women are doing this and thriving. Alicia Venice, the artist, will tell you how to get your mind right so that you can be with an American man who has gotten his mind right and stay in the country. You're just not going to be enslaved to American consumerism and enslaved to the idea that you're just here to be a beast of burden, either just to survive or to impress other people to prove your worth. You can exit that mindset inside the country. And if you exit that mindset inside the country, all little stupid games that your male or female counterparts want to play on you don't work anymore because you're no longer involved in the game. So when you are ready to exit a system or systems of thought that are in the process of loud, spectacular, imminent death, there are alternatives. Now, the other thing about this that I also want to say, get out of the habit of telling people multiple times what should be obvious truth. Stop having the same old arguments. In the Bible and the Proverbs, and I'm actually thinking about doing late summer, well, September to Remember Bible study. We haven't even really started John at the time of this recording. We just did the introduction, but I'm already kind of thinking of a September to Remember Bible study to the extent of, if you see already, answer a fool according to his folly, but then the next verse says, answer not a fool according to his folly. And people are like, that's a contradiction. No, just read the rest of the Bible. The second part is answer not a fool according to his folly unless you be like him. The resolve is later. In the New Testament, a heretic who was a man who was a heretic after the first and second admonition reject. In other words, give people two chances. If the person's a member of the church, go yourself, take a brother, then take it to the church, and if the person doesn't listen, put them out. Which the resolve is stop having the same arguments with people. The mass of Black men are not listening to Black women. And it's getting to the point that the mass of Black women are not listening to Black men. Stop having the same old arguments. Maybe that can't be resolved right now. Stop having arguments with people. Seek to understand the truth, seek to discern what that is. And that's why I say I might have to do a September to Remember brief Bible study about, okay, a couple tests that you as a Christian can do to even realize should you even be listening or discoursing with the foolishness. A way to figure it out before you have to get engaged. The Bible does have tests for what you should be investing your energy into in the first place. But the point I have for you today is just, it is not necessary to go around in circles with people who have no intention of changing. They love chaos. They are addicted to it. And because they are addicted to it, like every addiction, it will eventually destroy them. But that doesn't mean you have to go on the merry-go-round with them. Stop arguing with people. The real divestment move is when you divest of the idea that you have to convince anyone of anything. Stop talking to people that don't think you're worth it. They don't think you're worth it. You cannot convince them. Your worth does not depend on convincing them. Find out what the truth is, find out what you should be doing, and go do it. The real divestment move is not to have to prove your worth or explain your worth to anyone. Please consider moving on to content that if you really need to go, then you really need to go. You don't need to talk about all the reasons why you need to go. You know what they are. So if you're serious about it, move away from the drama and get stepping. Like for real. And you can step as far as you want to go. But investing energy in chaos and in drama and in drilling and in dragging over and over and over again, you are looking at systems that are dying, that are passing away. It is instructive that Kevin Samuels had all this to say about people getting a dog and dying alone. Winter is coming, having no idea that this summer he would never see. The chaos around him, he did not see. He was so caught up in it, he was so busy, he did not see coming what he needed to do to avoid his dissolution. Don't look at that as ha ha. Look at that as be warned. Be warned. If you need to leave something alone, leave it alone. There will be material information for you that will allow you to make different decisions. Please act on it. Don't get stuck in the heat death, the entropy death of all the foolishness that's going on around Black people right now. Please don't, because it will not end well. And you don't need to be part of that. All right. I want this to post up this evening, and y'all have a good weekend. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.